Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Yo, she-bitch. Let's go.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now, going on this past week, really wasn't anything like major political wise going on. Still sending money to Ukraine. Democrats are still stealing the taxpayers' money. Other than that, that's pretty much all that's been going, except for, a few of them like AOC and, and them, they've been spouting some retarded crap, but other than that, nothing really major. So let's just get on to what I really want to talk about. First things first, there has been a podcast channel or YouTube channel that's been, a lot of the YouTubers have been going on and on about it. It's called the Whatever podcast or YouTube channel. It's called Whatever. Normally I don't talk about this kind of stuff, but every now and then, something. Because it's been just, YouTubers been talking about it like crazy here this past week. It's been going around. And there's a reason why it's starting to pick up a lot of traction. The host of it his name is Brian. He has quite a few subscribers. He's got almost 4 million, so he's been doing really well, but it's not because of the Whatever podcast that he's been doing lately. It's because he used to do like prank videos and shit, and then he switched to doing this within the past year. Basically what he does is he gets OnlyFans girls or college girls. Remember, these are people from California, very liberal, very woke state, and then he has them all set around this table, and then he goes on to speak about certain topics, mainly dating topics. Every now and then it does get a little political, but mainly dating stuff. There's this one instance where it didn't happen that very long ago, where he had a show, and he had this guy named Chase on there, who sometimes he'll come on the show and he'll co-host with Brian. But anyways, there's this one particular black girl named Kiko or whatever, and she gets in a fight with Chase because someone in the chat asked, would he bang a old woman or a trans woman, and he said he would bang the old woman because he's not gay. And she threw a hissy fit calling him homophobic and all kinds of transphobic or whatever, and she got up and bolted and left the show. Even though he said, well, it's true, I'm not gay, and that is gay sex, a man having sex with a man. And she threw a fit and left. Anyways, because of that, it kind of blew up. The channel kind of blew up, and all the YouTubers have been talking about it. Now, I've been watching the channel too. I've gone back and watched several of the other episodes. The main problem I have with the Whatever channel is that a lot of times it's just way too long. Sometimes 5 fucking hours he does the show. It's just not all the time. Usually it's still, he usually goes for almost 4 hours almost every show. It's a little over 3 hours. That's a little long to me. I mean, I understand a couple hours, but my gosh, 5 hours is a little too long. He brings up this thing. He brings up a certain point where he starts talking about body count. You know, they've been ran through, or you know, they've been fucking around a lot, and their body count's really high, and men don't want that, blah 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 blah. You get the gist. And they don't get it. They all throw a fit over the body count. They do not understand why they having a huge body count is different from when a man has a high body count. They don't get it. They don't understand it. Because they won't look through a man's perspective. They always look through a woman's lens every single time. A feminist lens. You know, the sexual liberation, patriarchy, all that nonsense. That's all been debunked 100 times. They just can't get over that. And they don't get it. They never do. They don't think it's wrong, morally wrong what it is. They just don't get it. But he tends to go a little too long on that subject a lot of time. Like, he'll just keep going and going about the damn body count. I understand. They don't get it. After a while, move the fuck on. Talk about something else. But no, Brian has this, you know, he has this fucking hiccup where he can't stop talking about the damn body count. In fact, they'll go for a little while about a different subject, and then he'll bring it right the fuck back up again, and they'll just go on and on talking about it again for most of the episode. It's like, come on, talk about some other shit. You ain't just got to talk about body count the entire time, but he does. He'll get stuck on it. It's just, it drives me up the wall. Then he does this thing where he'll pop up a little supposed, you know, like super chat. It'll say Stifler wants to know your rating 1 through 10 based on looks. The dumbest thing ever. And he does it every show. Like, people don't know that he's Stifler. It's dumb. You don't need to do the rating thing. That's just dumb. I get why he does it, but it shouldn't be every episode. Like, you know, once in a while, you know, just to make your point. But, because a lot of them, they'll say they're a 10 even though they're not. So, I get why he does it, but at the same time, it doesn't need to be every fucking episode. You know, and they don't need to talk about it for another fucking 2 hours. Super chats. He used to read super chats, like if you did like $10, he'd read the super chat. He ignores all the others. He won't even read them. And then he bumped it up to 20. Then he bumped it up to 50. Then he bumped it up to 100. So now you gotta pay $100 fucking for him to read your question to the ladies. it's asinine. It's like, dude, I'm not paying $100 just for you to read a question and then go, yeah, you're right. But I don't think we can get to that question right now. Blah, blah, blah. And he'll move on because he wants to talk about what he wants to talk about, which I understand. It's his podcast. But dude, if someone's willing to spend $100 to ask a fucking question, Brian, ask the fucking question, dude. That's rude and bullshit. And he does it every now and then. He won't ask it. He'll move the fuck on. I'm like, dude, that's not cool. So I know I wouldn't pay to fucking, I'm not paying someone to read a fucking question. He all has these tiers for membership. You know, he's like, literally at the beginning of the thing, he's begging people to do a membership. Dude, I'll never beg people to fucking subscribe to my fucking channel. It's fucking retarded. I hate when YouTubers do that. It's bullshit. Either people will subscribe or they won't. You don't need to beg them to fucking subscribe to your channel. Come on, guys, give me a fucking like. Blah, blah, blah. No, fuck you, dude. You YouTubers need to stop doing that bullshit. If they want to like the video, they know how to like the video. They know how to subscribe. You don't need to sit there and beg them on every fucking video you do. That's bullshit. Don't treat your viewers like that. You know, you make it to where they don't want to do it. They don't want to subscribe because you're begging for it. Stop begging. If they want to do it, they'll do it. That's how I see it anyway. You know, also, same thing with, you know, a lot of them, you know, if you subscribe to me, I'll subscribe to you kind of shit. You know, I help you grow, blah, blah, blah. But unfortunately, for me, I don't know who subscribes to me because it doesn't show me who's subscribing to me. Yes, there's a place where you can see if people have subscribed, but it just gives you the number of people who subscribe. It don't tell you who subscribed to you because they have it marked on their account to where people can't see if they subscribe to you. You can't see if they're the ones who did it. So, you know, I can't subscribe back, which I would do. I just feel, you know, if you're going to subscribe to me and help me grow my channel, I'm going to subscribe to you and help you grow your channel. But unfortunately, I can't see if you subscribe or not. Every once in a while, I'll get one like that. But most of the time, I don't see it. So I can't do it. Okay, on his channel, on the whatever channel too, he brings up height. Because it's unrealistic preference that women, or mainly feminists, have. They have to be 6 foot fucking tall or taller. And I don't even think it's feminists, it's just women in general. Every once in a while, there's a woman who doesn't care about your height because they know that the height is not what makes a man a good man. Or you know, a relationship material. But most women, they're shallow. They're fucking shallow as fuck. Because all they care about is where the guy's ripped, if he's got tons of money, and he's over 6 foot tall. 6 foot or taller. That's all they care about. They care about material shit. Whereas the guys, they care about finding someone to love. So it's complete opposite. It's all out of whack as far as women go. Alright, moving on. This last episode he just had, I watched it, and I about fell asleep because a lot of these are very boring. The topics get very boring. They just talked about this one girl's relationship with her new... She doesn't even claim themselves as boyfriend and girlfriend. Just this guy she's supposedly monogamously seeing. supposedly it's monogamous on her end, supposedly. On his end, supposedly it's open. He can fuck around if he wants to. I'm like, what the fuck? But yet she's doing girlfriend shit for him. And it made no sense. And that's literally, 90% of the podcast or episode this last night, this past one, Sunday night, that's all they talked about through the majority. And he had Amala on there. So it was just weird. Like, most of them were all agreeing with each other on, like, conservative and traditional values. And I was just like, nah, something's not right here. Where's all the feminists, you know? You have one girl she was a 19-year-old. She sat in the back. And she did kind of waver on a few things. But for the most part, they all pretty much agreed on everything. That Natasha was not bad looking. She's the one who said, women don't need makeup. They should be natural. And I agree. It should be all natural. Makeup is an illusion. Too many women, cover themselves and gunk themselves with makeup, fake eyelashes, fake hair, all that kind of shit. It's an illusion, guys. It's not the real them. And then they get pissed at men, if they're not 6 foot tall or taller. Or if they have the preference of weight, which you can change, women. Ladies, you can change your weight. A guy cannot change his height. Fuck that retarded shit where I've seen people try to bring up that whole expensive surgery where guys can break their legs and fucking stretch them out. Why? That's fucking retarded. Women need to be more realistic with their fucking preferences and stop being so fucking shallow. A height does not make, a good guy. Duh. Anyways, regardless, check out the Whatever channel, podcast, whatever, if you want. It's decent, but he needs to shrink it down. Don't need to be so long. And he needs to stop begging people to super chat for $100 fucking dollars. I don't give a fuck what channel it is. I ain't super chatting. That's such fucking retarded. Start paying attention to your viewers and stop worrying about fucking getting money off of them. You're a fucking dick if you're doing that. The whole live super chat crap. Fuck you. Anyways, moving on. Let's get on to your B-movie reviews. Okay, movie-holics. Let's get on to your B-movie reviews. This week is Fantasy Week. Now, I chosen a couple of fantasy comedies. Has some comedy. The first one is called Joe's Apartment, and it was done in 1996. It brought in about 4.6 mil, so it didn't do all that well. Naturally, it was, an MTV production, you know, so that maybe a lot of your MTV movies don't do all that great from back then. Now, it starred Jerry O'Connell and Megan Ward as the leading actress. The story is basically you have this guy named Joe, played by Jerry O'Connell, who moves to New York right after college, and he's trying to make a life in the big city. That's basically the entire premises for the most part. Now, Megan Ward's character is a girl he sees, and he instantly, you know, he's head over heels over. And her dad's a senator who wants to build this prison on a particular lot that's pretty much all gone except for one building, which Joe finds an apartment in by accident because it's cheap. So he starts living there, and the girl, she wants to build a garden, and her dad, the senator, he finds out about that. He doesn't want that to happen. He starts taking money from, I don't know, he's like an Italian mobster or some shit. And he wants the prison there because it'll make him a lot of money. So he kind of goes into business with him, but then it switches later on during the movie, and the girl gets her garden, and then the senator changes his mind. He'd rather it turn into a park, which would help the neighborhood, blah blah blah. All ends well that was well, blah blah blah. And that's the end of the movie. They fall in love, Joe and this girl, and everything's hunky-dory, happily ever after. Now, throughout the movie, Joe runs across these so-called cockroaches that live in his apartment, and they're able to talk to him, and you know, they become kind of his friend, and they're doing like these singing and dance numbers a couple of times, which was dumb, but they kind of help him out with the girl, because she gets pissed at him at first because of all the cockroaches. Then they help him out and get her back for him, and blah blah blah. They help build the garden or park or whatever. Anyways, that's the gist of the movie. Honestly, I did not find any of it really funny. I didn't think it was funny at all. I think it was just dumb for the most part. There was one funny scene where this one guy who kind of helps him at the beginning to get the apartment and shit, he asks him if he wants to play in his band or some shit as a drummer. He says, Jerry O'Connell says, I don't know how to play drums. He says, don't worry about it. You just gotta show up. So he does. And he just kind of taps on the drums a little bit. He can't really play. And everybody in the club's watching. They're like, what the fuck? And this guy, he turns around and starts making fun of him and points back at him and says, this is all I could find in New York. Forgive me. Yeah, it was the only funny scene in the whole fucking movie. Otherwise, it was just dumber than shit. I mean, if you want to watch it, but I'm telling you, it's not worth your while. I give it 2 thumbs down. It was a really bad movie. Terrible movie. Okay. Moving on to your next movie, which was Drop Dead Fred. Now, this was done in 1991, and it made about 13.8 million worldwide. It starred Phoebe Cates and Rick Mayall, which I'd never heard of or seen again. Basically, Phoebe Cates has this imaginary friend who gets her in all kinds of trouble. You know, it started when she was really young, and then all of a sudden he's just gone and out of the picture. She's now an adult. She's having marital problems with her husband, and Drop Dead Fred shows up again and starts getting her in all kinds of trouble again. Eventually helps her with you know, what's going on with her marriage. He's kind of like cheating on her, which I do not understand. I mean, this is Phoebe Cates. This dude's fucking whacked out of his fucking mind. But anyways, he's cheating on her. At least the woman he's cheating on her with is pretty damn good looking, but regardless, you know. But then all of a sudden it turns around. He's staying with her. It makes no sense. And, you know, she thinks she's happy. And she's trying to take these pills to kill off Drop Dead Fred. And I understand nobody else can see him but her. She even sinks. She has like this friend, which is played by Carrie Fisher. It totally sinks her boat. And then, you know, Carrie Fisher's, I don't know, she's like trying to be okay with it, which I would have gone apeshit, told her to fuck off, never bother me again. She's loonier than a fucking jaybird. Anyways, towards the end, Drop Dead Fred helps her get rid of her husband, get a divorce, and move on with their life with a new guy who's an old friend of hers. And, you know, he's been simping hard for her, and she's been ignoring him the entire time. And she finally gets with him at the very end. And then she sees Drop Dead Fred kind of goes his separate ways from her, tells her that he can't no longer be with her. She's on her own. She needs to create her own happiness. And then next thing you know, she meets this guy's little girl, and Drop Dead Fred is with that little girl instead, and that's the end of the movie. It was all right. It wasn't bad. You had some decent actors in it. It's a pretty good movie for the most part. Was it funny? I didn't think most of it was funny. It was okay, but there wasn't really any, you know, just straight up gut busting laughing scenes. It was okay. It was decent. It's at least a one-time watch. I give it 2 thumbs up. It was a decent movie. It wasn't too bad for a B-rated movie. Check it out if you want to. If you just want something to watch, that's fairly decent. Other than that, that's how I felt about it. Alright, so that's all I have for you this week. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any suggestions, B-rated flicks, movies, television, something you think I may never have seen or may never have heard of, please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below, and I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next time, I told you you'd be told the truth, and you just been told.